Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome back. So this is our first week that we are going to be talking about subtraction with regrouping. So we wanted to ease our way into it, and so we're going to start with one double-digit number and then a single-digit number. So we're going to have a double-digit number, and we're taking a single digit. It's just one number in our number. So remember, digit is each of the numbers that we see. When we put them together, they create a number, but if we separate them, they are digits. Okay, so today's lesson is on IXL. So on your app, on your iPad, you're gonna tap the IXL app and log in. You should have your IXL code, and if you don't, you can always message your teacher because we have that and we can send it to your parents so that you can get access to this, because this is really important that we're building our fluency and our math skills. So once you are on IXL, you're going to go to the top search bar. You have to scroll down on your iPad to find it, and once you see this magnifying glass, that's the search, and you are going to type in today's code, which is P85, and it should say subtract a one-digit number from a two-digit number with regrouping. So that's the skill we're working on today, and I will type that into the top so that you have access to it throughout the lesson. So IXL code is P85. So remember, typing that in and searching for it. And so I already have it here for us. So we don't need to change our screen. So from here, it's going to ask you to subtract, and we are subtracting, and subtracting means taking away. That means our answer is going to get smaller because we had a number, which was our minuend, and we're taking from it the number that's in our subtrahend, and we're going to come up with the difference. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to model how we can subtract this problem using an efficient strategy. So there are so many strategies, and we're going to think about whether a strategy is efficient or if we can try a different one. So are we thinking of a strategy? I want teachers to tell me, are you thinking of a strategy? And if you have a strategy in mind, can you put a thumb up? We're going to try different strategies. So I know we have the number line, the drawing strategy, tens and ones, friendly numbers. So Miss T, what strategy are you thinking that we should use today?
I'm thinking, because it's my first time really trying this new kind of math, I want to make sure I understand what the numbers mean. So I'm going to use the tens and ones strategy.
Perfect. So it's a great strategy to start with because we have been practicing that strategy for a long time. And so we should be relatively used to it. So what's the first thing I would do, Miss T, if I'm using the tens and ones strategy?
I would draw my tens and ones chart.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would first always put in, when we're doing subtraction, we always start with the total or what we're beginning with. So I always use 67 first. And so I'm modeling 67 by drawing 6 tens. And I'm reminding myself that when I do my tens, I don't want to draw in tallies, especially when we're subtracting, because it gets me confused. Mm-hmm. So I really represent them as rods. So I have 6 rods in my tens place and 7 ones in my ones place. And then after that, I subtract 9. And I already know, looking at my ones place, that I don't have enough because I just said that I was going to draw 7. And if I'm asking to take away 9, that doesn't make sense. I don't have any. So I know I need to borrow from the tens. And how I do that is I know that because I can put 10 ones to make one rod, I can also break apart a rod, to make 10 ones. So I'm going to break apart one of the tens into ones. So I'm going to draw 10 ones in the ones place because I don't have enough to subtract from. And once I do that, I know I have more than enough. So I'm going to subtract 9 from the ones place. And when I do that, I get that I have 8 left over.
Beautiful. So I'm going to subtract that. And so I'm really showing what Miss T is explaining. So she took apart, and I'm going to remind us again that she took apart one of these 10 rods because a 10 rod is the same as 10 ones. We just created the rod. So we're going to take that apart, and I'm going to subtract or cross out my 9 ones that it's asking me here in the subtrahend. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Mm-hmm. And then I count my ones, and then I should get 8. Oops, I can't forget the 1 down there. Yeah. So that's 7, and then the 1 from the 10 that I borrowed. So that means I have 8 ones. And then I have to be really careful because if I borrowed a 10, that means it's not there anymore. So that doesn't exist. So I know that I have 5 10s left.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 10s. And then our answer is 58. Okay, let's see. Let's see if that answer is correct. So we're going to have it here. I'm going to put it in, cross our fingers. Yay!
Yay!
So we did it using the 10s and 1s strategy. All right, so we're going to try another one, another subtraction problem, and this time it's 94 minus 8. So do we want to try, teachers, do we want to try the 10s and 1s strategy again, or should we try something different?
I think it would be wise to continue to use this strategy until we start to really visualize that change, that regrouping happening.
Beautiful. I agree with you. And let me put the code here just in case because I forgot that I deleted it. So it was P85. Okay. So let's try that again. Thank you, Miss Rosales and Miss T, for helping us out. So the first thing we do, so let's break it up into steps. So if we're using the 10s and 1s strategy, the first thing we do is we create a 10s and 1s chart. And we want to really label everything because we want other mathematicians to know what we did. So our 10s and 1s, and then we're going to be looking at the minuend, right? That's the first number we see, our total, how many objects or how many, what the number is in our number sentence. So we need to separate this into 10s and 1s. So we have 9 10s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay? And then 4 1s, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, teachers, what's my next step? So I've already created my 10s and 1s chart and represented our minuend. What's the third thing we need to do? Miss T, thank you for sharing.
Well, I have to look and see, if I'm going to take away, if the equation is saying take away 8, I have to see, do I have enough to take away 8?
And we're talking about our 1s place, so we need to look at the 1s place and really zoom in. Do we have 8 1s here to take away? Doesn't look like it. Yes, Mr. Rosales?
And this, again, is why it's so important to use the 10s and 1s to really do this first when we're learning, because I know that I've made the mistake of flipping my 1s and thinking, oh, I have 8 1s, and I draw my 8 1s and take 4 from there. And that's not what's happening here. That's why it's important for us to draw out our first number, our minuend.
Thank you for that. So that's why we look at our minuend. And so we don't have enough in our 1s place to take away 8. So that tells me that I need to take a 10 rod and take it apart, right? Break it apart into 1s. So then I'm going to create 10 1s here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now I can see I have 10 1s plus 4 1s. I have enough to take away 8 from. So now my fourth step would be taking away 8 1s, right? Whatever we have in our subtrahend. So now I'm going to use a different color just so that we can really visualize it. And I'm going to use red. And I'm going to take away those 8 ones. So 1, and I know all the ones on the bottom are 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8. And I still see that we have 2 more ones from this side. And I really want to get those 2 ones so that I don't make an incorrect answer. Okay. So now we're looking at our ones. How many ones do we have? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones still here. And remember, we crossed out, or we took apart that 10 rod into 10 ones. So it's no longer a 10 rod, so it's not here anymore. So we have to kind of make an X or ignore it or remind ourselves that is no longer there. We already decomposed that 10 rod and made it into 10 ones, so it's not there anymore. We cannot use it or count it as a 10. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens, and that creates the answer 86. So we have 86, and let's check if our answer is correct. 86. Are we ready? Fingers crossed. Awesome job. We did it with our tens, our 10 and 1 strategy. Okay. Let's try one more, and I'm going to have another teacher revoice what we did. Ms. Rosales, would you mind revoicing?
Is this the new problem?
Yes. So now we have 25 minus 6. So what's the first thing we do when we are subtracting using the tens and ones strategy?
So when we're doing place value, we make sure that we do our T-chart, making sure we indicate where our tens and where our ones values should be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing. So we know that we're using this chart or this graphic organizer to help us out. Then we identify the minuend. What is the minuend in this math sentence? Well, that's 25. So then we have to think, decompose that by tens and ones. 2 rods of 10 make 20, and then 5 units make our 5 ones. Then our next task is now looking at our subtrahend. Our subtrahend is asking us to take away 6 units.
Mm-hmm.
So then I have to ask myself, looking at my ones place, do I have enough? Do I have enough to take 6 from here? I don't. I have only 5. So I could take 5, but that's not what I'm being asked to do. I'm asked to take away 6. So I take one of my rods, my 10 rods, and I decompose it into 10 units. So then now that I have my 10 units drawn, because Ms. Yakimowicz is that fast, I can now look back at my problem and subtract, take 6 units away. So I cross out 6. And then I count my totals. Now that I've finished, now I need to find the difference, what's left. And then I count my ones up. And then I noticed here that I have 9 ones. And again, boys and girls, we start on the ones columns first. And now we move to the tens. What's left over? We cross out the rod that we used, and we only have 1 rod of 10. So we have a 10.
I know
10.
it's really hard to see here, but we have 1.
Yeah. And so 10 and 9 make 19.
Beautiful.
And if we want to check, we know that we have 6 fingers. We can go ahead and count up 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And we have 25 as our minuend, so that works. We don't have to have chonguitos.
No, yeah, we know it works. And also, we can also use a different strategy to check our work. So if we're really trying to figure out this strategy and we're barely using it, remember, you can also use a different strategy to make sure that you have the right answer. So let's see, 19, we know it's correct. And we were right. So we're going to stop here. But remember, this is not the only way that we can solve these problems. It might be the most efficient, but I want you to try a strategy that you are comfortable with. And if you have a chance to use this strategy to really practice, please do so. And then use a different strategy to check your answer. So we can't wait to see all of your amazing work and to hear about your experiences. So please make sure you're using your IXL code. If you do not have access to it or you forgot your username and password, remember to have your parents message us so that we can give you your individual code and password. And the IXL code for this assignment is P85. So have a great time doing your work. We can't wait to hear all about it. If you want to upload any assignments onto Seesaw, you are more than free to do so. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you again later.
Don't forget to
Bye.
subscribe.
Bye.